Hello and welcome to another Batman the Miniatures game video. This time we're looking at just the basic tabletop simulator tutorial. More specifically looking at how my mod works, at least with this version. Because honestly I realized I never posted one on the YouTube channel. So apologies to those of you who were waiting for one. I vaguely recall doing one or two in the past, although there must have been problems, and I know my recent videos, I had my video converter started not working, so I haven't been posting very frequently, and just now I'm trying to get back into it with the new year around the corner. So let's start this off right and learn how to play Tabletop Simulator. So first up, let's just start with picking the mods. You have to download all of my mods on Steam. You just go into Tabletop Simulator, the workshop, and you can type in Batman the Miniatures Game 3rd. I'm under Captain Blue on there. If you find any of these mods, the Shipping Yard, the City, Gardens, Cards and Models, click on that one, scroll down, and it'll show you the collection it's in with all of them, with all the tables and the cards and models. And then just subscribe to that, and it'll show up in Tabletop Simulator under Workshop. So once you get there, and then you're gonna want to actually play the game. So when you're going into, just go back to the main menu real quick. Main menu. There we go. So you have two options. Join. If someone on the Archimedes Discord said, "Hey, I'm playing the game," you'd look up the server, type it in, and you'd find it. If your friend's on Steam, he can invite you, so like, there's some ways around there, you should leave out of that. Let's say you want to create one, you have the options of multiplayer, single player, or hot seat. I don't think there's any use to your hot seat with this game in particular. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I guess there is, but you're probably not going to do that. Anyway, multiplayer, you make the server, make sure to throw this information in to your opponent, but for now we're just going to play single player. So the very first thing you're going to do, go to the cards and models. I have a crew builder just already up on the iPad here with a public account that you can use if you don't have an account. This is just using the web builder that has been made and is amazing, but we're not talking about that. So you see all this, what do? You're overwhelmed. So over here, in the upper left-hand corner, you have all these bags, Two-Face, the Unknown, Batman, Batman Who Laughs, Purds, Leave Assassins, Joker, it's all the crews. So if you right-click, and you can click Search, it's going to show you every model and every card in this bag, this one being the Unknown bag. Then you just drag it out. So we got Catwoman dragged out here. Now I want to find her card. There's a little search bar up here. Catwoman. Here we go. That's a quick way of doing it. Then once you get your crew out, so let's just, I don't know, we'll just grab a few models. Why not? Ron's Tiger. I'll grab some from a different bag. Alright, I think you get the point, like, we're doing that. So there's our models that we're going to test around with. So, now we have an empty bag here. It's just for you to, if you're a newer player, you don't have a sensitive mouse or something, you could just move your models into this bag, and then you're going to right click, and you can either copy it, and that's just, Control V, you drop it down, it's the same, all the items in the bag's been copied. Or what I recommend doing for long term, you can right click it, click Save Object, and you're saving it, just like permanently. If you want to access your saved objects, click on up here with Objects, Save Objects, and then you'll see I have a bunch of stuff saved because I've been building maps, just randomly doing them. I like having a little folder just called Models and Cards, and as you see I have all of the actual bags saved, just so I never really have to go to this mod again. But I also just have some lists made, and then I just put them here. So yeah, I highly recommend doing that. And you also have to make sure you're saving the objective decks because they're only in this mod. Just that was a decision I made to cut down on load times. So that's that. There isn't much else to talk here. We can go about the HUD panel. So more advanced stuff. Let's get a model out here, just Frank real quick. So any model, you're going to put it on the HUD controller. Then you can click Track Menu, and it's going to track the HUD bar that's on top of Frank the plant here. So if anything I do to this bar, it's going to do to Frank. And if I click this little button, it's going to point at wherever Frank is. And then you can add a new bar. You might need to do that for some reason. And you know, like it's a cool little turn. And there's also this button that's like previous turn, next turn. That's just simply for, I don't know, if you really want to track your whole game, and after the game you're like, oh, what all happened? On turn 1, X and X took this damage. Turn 2, these guys took more damage. It's a cool tool. Personally, I don't use the HUD control panel a lot, but it is really nice to speed up your games if you want to take the extra time. I'll tell you up front though, I've not figured out how to tweak the scripting, so if your game crashes for some reason, this information will sadly be deleted. You know, hopefully it just doesn't crash, and if it does, hopefully you're like most of the way through the game and you're totally fine without this little handy dandy tool. Of course, all the information on the models' HUDs themselves are going to stay. So that's this tool, which is already on the tables. And now this one, the injector, you shouldn't have to do anything with this, but if for some reason you've decided to take photos of your own models or you're homebrewing stuff and you grab photos online or whatever you're doing, this tool is how I added the HUDs, which I didn't make these tools. I don't want to take any credit for that. I got these just from, what was the mod called? Well, let's look at it here. Games. Be somewhere on this workshop. Lightsaber. Discounter. I'll put it in the description somewhere. But I just got it from one of these guys. No, not that one. Oh well. It will be in the description below. But yeah, shoot me a message on the Arkham Rejects if you actually have any questions doing this. I'm not going to go over it all. There was some cool stuff with the, look at Frank, he has a little movement ring, so that's measuring exactly 6 inches from the edge of his base. The HUD really measures from the center of the base, so you just have to do the math to like figure out the exact number. I'm sure you could figure that out if you're doing it, or just ask me. But with all that, so let's go to the table and learn the basic controls for this mod and how to play the game semi-quickly. So now let's just pop over to one of my tables. We'll go to the shipping yard. I like this table. So before I even copy and paste models down, let's just talk about what's in the bottom bottom left hand corner. You have some dice rollers. I've just added those. So if you just click the 1 number, it's going to roll 1 dice. These dice do disappear shortly. Plus and minus, you're adding dice. And print on puts the results in the chat. I forget what clear does. Is that just clearing the dice? Yeah, that's what it looks like it does. And then we have, black and red, same thing, but one was for strength dice. So then I got some basic suspect markers just placed out to save you the hassle of getting at the bag. So there's 8 of them, because most groups can have 8. If you notice they're just white and black, I recommend you right click and you go down to color tint, and you just make it whatever color your heart desires. Let's go over this like green color. And you try on there, green. Neat. Let's say you're playing Brave and the Bold or something, and you have your snitches. If you search here, we have multiple different suspects, but like this one's suspect / snitch. And then if you flip it over, it's the snitch symbol. Nice and simple. The Audacity markers, which I like putting them on the cards. Then we have lamps and sewers, and we do have the little HUD thing just for the movement. So you can measure 4 inches outside of this lamp. And same thing for the sewer. It's just nice stuff. So let's put that on the table. Now let's say you want to, you don't want to accidentally keep picking it up, The L key locks it in place, so you cannot pick it up, which I do have the whole table locked in place, so, keep that in mind that you're not spamming the L key everywhere. You will unlock the table. So let's also talk about some other basic things. The N key is nudge. You just kind of can slide models around. It's good for getting base contact. Or if you're just in a janky hitbox situation, this might be a good way to get around that. And then we got tab is the hotkey for the measure stick, which you will see is up here. The line tool, my bad. So let's just touch the inches. I believe they're preset to inches. It could be inches, centimeters, or the grid. You have 3D or 2D. So as it tells you there, 2D measures will be flattened onto the horizontal plane, and 3D height will be incorporated into the measurement. So for Batman, you're probably going to want a 3D because you're going to go up stuff. And then free, and then you got auto. And then you just have edge, center. So it's just where exactly it's measuring, and then logging, it's just, we'll put in the chat window. I have the miniatures, which we'll get those guys out now. I have the miniatures, so if you have it set to, is it auto? Yes, it's auto. So if you have it set to auto, if you just pick it up, it's going to automatically start measuring for you. It's very nice. Personally, though, I play with free because I do think there's some times where I don't want to measure, and when I pick up, I just push tab. Some other movement tricks we recommend. Obviously, we talked about you have your ring, so that's a good way to figure out distances and whatnot. Then you obviously have copy and paste. So if you want to be exact, you can be like, okay, foxtrot position A to foxtrot position B. Let's make sure that's all good to me. Then also with this movement ring, helps a lot. So you can do it that way. Just make sure to delete the old foxtrot. And I already talked about nudging. Is there any other movement tools? And I really do recommend looking at the help menu. It just tells you a bunch of nice controls. Q and E are rotating. Why would you have to rotate them all? I'm not pushing in, pushing R. So looking again at the HUD. So we already talked about it has the movement thing. Has adding damage. Then you have the markers, which we'll talk about that in a second, but it's pretty self-explanatory. And this is just the reload button. I was looking at Foxtrot from this side, which, since the model's the same side, however way you look at it, it's hard to tell. But you want the pluses to be on the right side. I can't interact with this bar. So, in that instance, you might want to just rotate the model. Right clicks really, you're just searching everything. We got some templates here. Again, there's our control panel. The templates, you're just moving them and, kind of eyeball it. These are for like your victory points. This one particularly is your passes, victory points, plus minus adds them. Then I have a smoke template, again, obvious. We have an adaptable dice, which just, you know, depending on, shows your attack or defense. Whatever side you have into it. It's cool. So far we haven't gotten to a lot of the advanced stuff. I really do recommend this game. It's just play around a lot with it, you know. This is how it works. But that's kind of this side of the table. So let's talk about the markers. This is really simple. So we're going to have Foxtrot as our example here. If, let's say, Foxtrot suffers enervating for any reason, you just place the enervating tokens right on them. If we place 2, it's going to stack. Place 3, it's going to stack. And it doesn't go up to 4. I believe it caps out at 3 in the game, though. But, you know, like, it just keeps stacking. If I want to get rid of it, and I'm just clicking that button, and I can either just get rid of enervatings one at a time, or if I wanted to, I could just, let's say you're knocked down, and enervating. I click clear. Gets rid of everything. And then, you know, we just have all of the corresponding markers here. I'm not sure if we have every marker in BMG. I think we do. We definitely have all the markers you're going to find yourself needing in a game. And that's how the markers work. They're a nice tool. If for some reason, I can't get an example up here, but, well, maybe we can if I just keep spawning markers. But if you only see like a little white square or a yellow square, like it doesn't show the logo for, I don't know, terror, just click this button. It's going to reload the little marker logos. So yeah, that's this. If we loosely talk about this. So let's now talk about, and this really shouldn't be too long, the cards in play, like how we have the deck sorted out here. So let's grab our deck. We will just grab the Two-Face cards, which every bag is about the same if you search it. It shows any special cards they have in the deck. In Two-Face case is the coin. Then I have the stack of 20 cards, or 17 in Batman and Joker's case. Then we have any character cards. And then we have the 4 plot cards. So we want deck, and that gets thrown in there because Two-Face. We'll just set it all up there. So that's what our deck would look like. I didn't talk about the plus and minus in largest things. I don't want it too huge for the deck case, but I like it a little bigger. Let's say I want to read that. Now, I don't know about you and me. This seems a little annoying to read. So if you click the Alt key, you can just read the card, or really any object that you're looking at. I'll just zoom in there. And then if you use your scroll wheel, you can enlarge or shrink that accordingly. If you click Shift, you'll look at the back of the card, or in this case, the stack of cards. Highly recommend this for looking at our character cards. If you want to look at a trait, instead of manually panning your camera over and flipping the card over and just zooming in, do that. It will save you time. So the R key, if you're not using the roller thing for rolling dice, R is to roll, which is kind of roll dice, but it's also to shuffle. F is to flip, not to shuffle. And we'll put that in our deck, which, if you noticed, it kind of locked in there, you know? So if I hold it, I'll pick up the whole deck. And if I just kind of quickly swipe while I'm using the left clicker, I'll just manually draw a card. But if that's a little too slow for your fancy, you can manually push any of the number keys. So in this case, we're going to do 4. And 4 cards go into my hand. And, you know, at the start of the game, they can discard cards, so I want to discard Justice here. I'm going to flip it with F. Or if you click the little scroll wheel on your mouse, that's also going to flip it. Now I want this on the bottom of my deck, so while I'm holding it, if I right click, I can kind of just push it down to the ground. Now we're going to push 1 to grab a new card. There we go, there's our starting hand. Now let's say I want to just play a card. So I know every player will do it slightly differently, but how it's set up here is your resources are going to go in here. Again, they're like magnets. Cards in play are going to go like here. Magnets. You know, active plot, cards under plot, scored. Then same thing, if I go in under, I'm going to flip the card, right click, slide it under. Sometimes, now if you saw right there, it just kind of pushed our deck. It's a bit, you know, you kind of just got to have a gentle touch for it. But like even right there, it's not kind of going in. If that happens, just pick up the whole deck. Just place it on top. It's not perfect. That's a TTS problem, not a me problem. And that's the basics of the deck. If you remember correctly, with the bags, how we click right click and then you have your whole little options bar. That's with every object in this game. So with the deck, you know, you can also shuffle it here if you wanted to. Only thing we really need here, to save you time, is just the search. If you're building a deck and you're like, I want every bird card except for these 3, and you just pull out your stack of 20, search it, and get rid of the 3 you want. That's the quickest way to do it. That's the basic card play. You know, again, just it takes a bit to get used to TTS. So now you might notice this monster of a setup here. They're not perfect, but this is gonna help you get a good idea of what you're setting up. So you have your 2 cards here. Again, R to shuffle. So you're gonna draw it out. So black's the event cards. We got Gotham Flames. And then gray's the mission. We got Standoff. So for Standoff, we're gonna look at Showdown. Here's Standoff. So I have this set up where the flat side, well, I guess it's all flat. The more straight side is gonna, well, here, let's just click the button. And now this map's a little weird, but this one, it's placing all the markers so they're like so. And then the other one places them this way, so if you're just trying to figure out which side would be yours, just look for the flat side or the more straight side should face your deployment zone. It's like with this Vanguard, it's this bottom corner. Wow. This Vanguard is the upper corner. You know, honestly, I don't even use these tools as much as I would like to, and I'm already trying to redo them, so they're a lot more fancy, but I just don't know scripting that as well as I would like to. So that's hopefully a project that'll happen one day, but don't expect it anytime soon. And now we have this mess of a table. Since everything's locked in place, I'm just going to select everything, and then backspace to delete. Backspace. There we go. Table's nice and cleaned. So that's roughly how it works. Yeah, I mean it's a monster tool. If you look at where it says the setup, it will tell you the mission it corresponds with. Showdown, chance encounter, the other chance encounter side, standoff, chance encounter going up to down, showdown going up to down, standoff going up to down. I think you guys get the idea. Personally, I think duel's the worst one to set up because there's like 100 little markers. That's just the only way I could do it sort of accurately. But even then, like this it doesn't lay them all correctly. So if you're really gonna pick to not do a particular mission, this would probably be the one I'd do. Or I wouldn't do, I should say. So now that is the right side of the table. all that's left is the terrain and models and just learning movement and some of the camera buttons. So let's see if I can think of any other movement shenanigans you might want to do. But really, you're just taking everything into account with the sticks, the tab key. I guess we gotta talk about the zoom in. Z is just the zoom in to the table. And then I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but let's look at the help menu. Not that button. That is not the help menu. Help menu. So pick up, flip, zoom object. Talk about that. Rotate, scale, nudge, lock, array/randomize. We don't need the blindfold in BMG. We don't need the menu. Well, I mean you do, but like we don't really need that. You got some of the advanced roles. I think the grouping is mostly with your cards. Under we talked about. The multi-select you shouldn't really need. But you know, if you want to be exact with stuff. We talked about the arrow/line tool. So what do we got here? So first, third, and top down. If you just click P, we'll change the camera angle. I always recommend third person. So first person is you fly the camera with your arrow keys. Or I'm sorry, with AWS and the arrow keys you zoom in here. It's not terrible, but I don't recommend it. It's kind of weird. And top down, I don't think you're ever really going to want. But I don't know, if you want to quickly glance over from time to time, be like, what's everything going on to? But because we use the 2D cutouts in this game, you really can't tell the models, you just see the bases. But it still gets you a good idea nonetheless of stuff. So in third person, which I recommend, what else do we have to do? So you can save camera. You're going to let the help menu so you can actually see it. Save camera, control plus 1 through 9, so you can save up to 9 cameras, and then loading it's just shift 1 through 9. We kind of already talked about the basics, just you're moving around the camera, which I feel like we did. And that's kind of it. So, you know, we're just gonna save a few spots. Control 1, Control 2, let's go Control 3, and then you can just bounce between them. So this will save your time in a game if you can remember to use it. And that's the basic controls of Batman there. I hope this was sort of helpful. Yeah, you know, just really make sure you're saving your objects to import it into the game, and then it really is just the proper setup. If you want to see how I set up my cards in particular, we'll just grab a few cards here. I always use the deployment table, so it doesn't really matter which cards we're grabbing here. I like to enlarge them. And I don't care if they're huge. Like, they're over here. I'll put my Audacity over here. Can even enlarge those. Doesn't matter. And then, you know, again, we already talked about just the Alt and then Shift. Yeah, I think that's all there's really to say about this game. I hope you can check it out. If you just want to look at the other tables I have here, just 2 games. So here's this table. We've seen the Gotham City, or if we haven't in a game, you're going to be soon. I have a few more recorded that will be hopefully coming out soon in 2021. If you're seeing this video, that means the converter's working, so that's good. And I hope to get out more content in the future. I might even take a break from TTS for some videos and do what more the other Batman videos are doing, and just recording a self game. I might do it. Was it DM Gashbag, or is it GM DM Gashbad? Did where he takes photos and he just talks over the game, which is already sort of similar to what I'm doing now. So you can hopefully look forward to that in the future. If you are not already a member of the Arkham Rejects Discord server, you should join. We are planning our next league on the 8th of, was it January? The next month, the upcoming 8th. We're going to start up the next league. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're actually going to be trying out some homebrew Magic and Speedster rules, so it should be a fun time. If you want to think of it as an organized play, you're more than welcome to. It's supposed to be super friendly, it's free, anyone's welcome to join in. And just have some fun, you know? It's bracket setup. And I might try recording a few videos from that, just like I did with the Battober League, which, you know, hopefully that video should be up and done. I know we got 3 at least. And yeah, there's a few more tables. As of now, I have what, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 tables, and I hope to make more in the future. But that's Captain Blue signing out, and hope everyone had a happy holidays.